taking you through the new year with 30 days of gratitude every day, where I share a gratitude and also share a quote from some of the masters that I am ever grateful for. And today's day 7 of the Gratitude Challenge. If you want to join me in the challenge, post what you're grateful for below this video. Love to hear it. Gratitude has the power to shift your state, clear your mind, change your life, really. And today I am grateful for my favorite topic of all time, which is love. I am so grateful for love because I discovered it. That may sound funny to some people. Everybody probably thinks they've discovered love, but usually you've discovered love of another, a person, a thing, or an event, usually a person. And I'm very grateful for discovering that we don't love people, things, or events. We actually love love itself. So for the discovery of being able to love love, and that we do love love, and that it is completely free and not attached to anything, person, or an event. And so it's available anytime, completely and unlimited. And it transformed my life, and is the reason I'm here talking now. I don't know who else is here. I need to go and find out. So, yeah, love. It's the greatest thing on earth. It's not even on earth. So, wow. I got a few of my favorite quotes. Actually, I have a number. I was thinking to just bring one quote, you know, every time, but there's no shortage of quotes out there. And some of them are just so good that I need to share more than one. Is it okay? Is it okay? Can I share more than one? Let me go see who's here. If there's anybody, I'm sure there is. Tuesday night, it's prime time for Facebook visitations. And I also want to make sure that I am broadcasting. There we go. Now I've got it. Hey, Michelle. And Michelle, hi. Very good. So I have tonight for you a couple of quotes from two different sages or gurus that are my favorite. And the first one is Rumi. And I share this because someone in our community, they came to mind when I read this. They've lost 2 people in their family this time of year within a week of each other. And that's quite a lot. So here you go. Here's a favorite quote from Rumi on love. Goodbyes are only for those who love with their eyes, because for those who love with heart and soul, there is no such thing as separation. How true. I hope that helps comfort you and get you through. I know you have the strength to get through this. And so I have another Rumi one, which actually is guidance sort of on the first Rumi quote. And that is, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. See, love is your natural state. And in order to not have love or joy, there must be a barrier, a reason. And there's no such thing as a reason to not have love. Reasons are really thoughts and excuses, rationales, limitations that appear to keep you from love, but nothing can, actually. And so Rumi has very good instruction here. Find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. And the primary barrier is the idea of separation, the idea of me and the other. And I'll bring a few more quotes that also speak to that point from Ramana Maharshi. So, to reject the bad, you must love the good. In due course, that good also will appear as an obstacle and will be rejected. However, you must necessarily first love what is good. That means you must first love and then reject the thing you love. Notice here we're talking about the thing you love. If you thus reject everything, what remains is the self alone. That is real love. One who knows the secret of that love finds the world itself full of universal love. A lot of overlap between these two guys, eh? So, two of my favorites, Ramana, who is logical and very real, and Rumi, who was very much a lover who had fallen in love with love, like I did. Ramana recognizes it though. He said, bliss is the self. That's what I discovered. What you love is not another. You love love, which is not other than yourself. And it's not the self that society thinks about, you know, the egotistical, you think highly of yourself. It's your very existence. There is pleasure, love, and joy in your very existence. So Ramana continues, bliss is the self. All become dear only owing to the love of self. Love is not different from the self. Love of an object is of an inferior order and cannot endure because objects don't. Whereas the self is love. Sounds familiar to God is love? Yes, that can open up that can of worms too. Someone once asked Ramana, why not follow the path of love? Because Ramana was, you know, very much a proponent of self-inquiry, of looking into just what's real and true here. But he never put this path down. His reply was, who said you couldn't follow it? You can do so. But when you talk of love, there is duality, is there not? The person who loves and the entity called God who is loved. The individual is not separate from God. Hence, love means one has love towards oneself. Yes, and initially we may not know that, and it's okay to fall in love with God also, if you do it thoroughly and completely and don't actually think that it's a separate entity, but you could just think of it as the mystery. I got a lot of quotes on love here today. They're so good. I'm gonna go see who we have here. Michelle says, share as many as you'd like. Right on. Okay. Very good. Shall do. All right. I do love my cat, and she picks the funniest times to be so entertaining. My God, just a few minutes ago here, before I came on live, both cats were sleeping utterly peacefully in the same little basket. And, you know, have you ever fallen asleep and you kind of like jerk like that? One of them did that, scared itself, and it flew out of the basket, and the other one got scared and it flew out of the basket. It was just like flying fur everywhere. It was hilarious, just hilarious. They are just entertaining, one moment after another. So this moment is entertaining. This existence is entertaining. Love, this reality. All right, I will carry on, because I got the carte blanche here from Michelle. So love is the bridge between you and everything. That's Rumi. That's because there's no difference between you and everything. That's what I found, is that when I fell in love with love and indulged in it with no holds barred, like completely and absolutely, without any idea I couldn't, or that I had to have a thing, a person, or an event to fall in love with love. Oh my God, that just unleashed love and ended separation of self and other, because you're loving everything. And it, yeah, at that point it's beyond mind. And there's a quote here about that too, somewhere. So Rumi, love is the bridge between you and everything. He also said, reason is powerless in the expression of love. That's what I was saying, I guess, just a minute ago, is that mind can't explain it, but here it is. And his advice is, wherever you are and whatever you do, be in love. That's basically what happened to me. Wherever I went, whatever was going on, whatever I was doing, I was in love with love, moment to moment. Just like you'd be if you were, you know, in love with a person. You know what that experience is like, likely. And so it was very much like that, except there was no person. I suggest everybody put that on their bucket list. Find out what that is like. Completely freeing. And so the idea of romantic love that we have in our society now is really egoic love. And real love is really not something that the ego is capable of by definition. Ego is self, me, in opposition to other. That right there is not love. And that kind of love is satisfying for its own interest. And that sounds kind of weird because I also say that you love the self, and that is your own. But it's not a thing you love for yourself. It is self-love, period. And so there's no attachment, there's no addiction. You can't be addicted to that which is infinite, which is never not here. It can't go wrong. And so everybody is actually doing everything for their own self-interest and truth. But when you think you need to get something from someone else, that you believe there is a someone else and they have something that you don't have and you need to get it, that's where everything goes wrong. And so, you know, egoic love does everything for its separate self, whereas love does everything for the universal self. And when you find out that love is its own interest, well, that's over, whether you're with somebody or not, and it's wonderful. Ego, by definition of what it is separation, me and you, whereas love has no separation, it's just love. So you could say that ego is anti-love. And with these relationships that we accept as conventional, most of them, the ones that I've heard of or been in, this causes separation, you and me, and the fighting and the arguing and exclusion and prejudice and selfishness and greed. This love is the cause of hatred, really. It's not love, actually. It's more like business and trading. And so it all feels bad. And anything that is, that feels bad, like that, anything that is demanding, anxious, fearful, sad, depressed, whatever, that's false. Only the false feels bad. Anything that is not love is not real. What is the source of it then if it's not real? Imagination, the mind. The movie in the mind, which is what we're talking about in the Ego to Enlightenment workshop, which you can join in Facebook for free. It is open, and I am posting gratitude once a day, and invite you to post one down below also. It is really a lot of fun when we come back after this video is done and people come and revisit and they post their gratitude, and you get to read everybody's gratitude. It's just like a gratitude fest. We have so much fun reading them all. Also, you get to know some of the people in the group, and reading them is kind of like a catch-up because you know what's been going on for them in their lives. So it's the best kind of news you could read. Love, love, love. All you need is love. Do, 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 do. They got it right. What can I say? All right, my favorite topic. If anybody has anything to say, any questions on it, I'll hang around. because you know how it works. You keep typing, I keep talking. If not, then I will sign off until tomorrow's episode of Daily Gratitude, 30-day challenge of love, joy, and gratitude for spiritual seekers, where I bring you my gratitude and also some of my favorite quotes from some sages and gurus. See, here's an example. Sylvie says, grateful for the beautiful day and the beautiful people who came shopping. See, it can be something so simple. Mary's grateful for creative decorating. Lisa's grateful for meditation. And Marguerite says, grateful that there is a way out of this suffering. Absolutely. Me too. Absolutely. Nola's grateful for opportunities to learn. Laura's grateful for the quiet part of her day. Janice is grateful for the sun shining out from behind the clouds today. Yeah, I would be grateful for that too in the moment. I was grateful today for the little white flecks of snow that were falling down ever so delicately. It was really beautiful. It was a Christmas kind of snow, as my family says. And Bonnie's grateful for the white color. And Christina says, I'm grateful love always exists. My favorite quote is falling in love with love. I think you're quoting me. Could be someone else, but I think you're quoting me. How very appropriate that you did that, Christine. I just saw it now. That was from 2 days ago. I'm just reading some of the past ones. This is day 7. So you can come in and listen to them all and read them all and enjoy them all. Deborah, who's here now, says, my children and grandkids. Absolutely. Yeah. They're as fun as cats sometimes. They are. Glad you're here, Michelle. Yeah. So 7 days worth. You can go. You can go back and look, see what I chose as my gratitude share, and pick one for you today and post on there. So if anybody has any comments, questions about this loving, beautiful wisdom that we've been left and that we can share, let me know, and I will be answering them here. Why 30 days? Usually there's this Advent thing, right? Where you do it, 20 days, 30 days of Christmas. I forget how many. But I started on the 5th of December, and this is going to take us into the 3rd of January. So past the new year, because I know that this can be a tough time of year for a lot of people. And not everybody, is in the festive mood. And gratitude, if you're not there, can really help a lot to ease whatever is going on, whatever you're feeling in your life right now. Help you get through. So we're going to be here to bring you through into the new year. What are you grateful for? Let me know. Post it below. And I'm just going to see if I can find any more to read here, because that was fun. It's the first time I've done that. Okay. Someone said grateful for me. Thanks, Nancy. Annette said, I'm grateful for dance practice for someone my age as we prepare for the coming of the Winter Games to our city in February. Woohoo! That sounds big. That sounds, yeah. Big or small, we celebrate them all. That's kind of a spin-off of my dad's business. My dad was in the service business. He used to plow snow. It's a very tough business because, it could be a good year with lots of snow and it could be a bad year with not so much snow. And whenever we had snow, he had to go. But on his card, his business card, it stuck with me because he was a man of few words. But on his business card, he said, big or small, we service them all. So I kind of have a play on words with that. And it brings him to mind. I am very grateful for him. So you can have so much gratitude sometimes, so much love, that you will experience tears, you know? You'll get leaky, you know? A few leaky eyes. And that's not a bad thing. That's a lot of people, well, for me anyway, when I started crying with love, it was so weird. Because, you know, you were crying when you're unhappy and laughing when you were happy. But I wasn't unhappy. These were blissful tears. It was a very strange phenomena to me at first. But that's why I started to call it the sorrow of love. It wasn't really sorrow, but tears come, and enjoy them, indulge in them, get familiar with them, appreciate them. That's my advice on love. I suggest everybody fall in love with love. Deborah says it's a hard time right now. I hear you. Yep, you're welcome. We are here with you and shall be here through into the new year. Every day, even Christmas, okay? How's that for a deal? Michelle also said, definitely a challenging time. Absolutely. Hard to feel the love. Don't put your attention on that thought at all. Okay, I think your loved ones want you to feel the love more than anything, wouldn't you say? They certainly wouldn't want you to not. And so I suggest that you seek love, and it could be connected to them. And this is going to be a challenge if you've not been practicing what we teach here, and especially if you've not been sitting meditation. I know some of these people have, because you won't know about your power of attention, your power of interest. You won't know about any of that, and you won't know what's going on, and you'll be very unstable, and attention will wander, and it will go off onto some sad story, and you may suffer for a while. But hang around and learn about these things, because you can learn to keep attention off of these kinds of thoughts, that it's hard to feel the love and all the other thoughts that would come with pain and suffering, and instead put your attention on love. And so, well, here's one suggestion. If you haven't been practicing with us and you're new to this, whenever some sorrow or pain comes up, ask yourself, could it be love? Okay? Like, seriously ask yourself that and answer it. And so if you're feeling pain of loss of someone, ask yourself, could it be love? And now you're thinking about love and that person. And what's your answer going to be? Absolutely, right? If there was no love, this wouldn't be here. And so now your attention can go on to love and that person. And you can learn to sustain it, to hold it there, because you prefer it, because you know they would prefer it. And so use this. Whenever pain comes up, use this. You're developing your powers to stay stable, to stay out of the suffering movie in the mind. Okay? You can do this. You've got this. All right. Any other questions, comments? I think we'll come back to love a few more times. There's been a lot of quotes historically on it, and it is my my all-time favorite. That and joy, happiness. I think love is quite appropriate through the season here. Carol says, yes, through Cindy's work pointers, I've learned to grieve without suffering. Thank you for that, Carol. That is a crucial and massive difference. The difference between grieving and suffering. And when you have a loss, you will go through a grieving process. But if you don't suffer, then this loss will move on. This grief will move on. It will come and it will go. It doesn't mean that you're moving on from the person. It doesn't mean you didn't love them. It doesn't mean you're leaving them. Absolutely not. It means you're actually bringing them, right? You're bringing the love. You're bringing it back up now, just the way you would when they were, say, alive, but they were not in the house for whatever reason. You didn't suffer that they weren't in the house. You could have. Maybe some people do. But you pretty probably didn't do that. And so, but you could have. That's my point. Someone is not in the house and you could have the story they don't love you and you suffer that story, or that you may never see them again. You could imagine this, and it could happen. It could be real, but and you could suffer that. Okay, when they're not, they're not dead. And the point is that it's you who's doing this. When they were present in your presence, you were experiencing love that is not. You were experiencing love that was not attributed to them. It wasn't caused by them. It's your love. And when they're not here, you also can experience this love because it's not attributed to them. It's not limited by them. I mean, if it were true that love was limited by someone's presence, then as soon as you were in the presence of someone you loved, you would always feel love, right? But it's not true. You've been in the presence of a loved one and you felt hurt, distant, angry, whatever. And so it's not their presence that is the cause and source of love. And this, to realize this, will unleash your love and end the suffering. And so yes, grief comes through, moves through. It's shock. It's when things change and they're not like they were anymore. And it will come through, it will move through. But if you start to suffer thoughts about it, this is not going to move through, right? You can form beliefs and you can stick with stories and the movie in the mind. And this can stay a very long time, well long after the adjustment of grief happens. So grieving is not suffering. Suffering is not grieving. It's important to learn the difference between the two. And Carol says, and what remains is much love and gratitude. Yes. Yes. And I'm grateful for you being here and reminding me about the difference between grieving and suffering. Because this is going to help a lot of people. So, anybody else? Questions, comments, contributions? Otherwise, I'll just see if I have anything else on love here. I think I got that pretty much covered. Oh, here's one. Ramana again. Bliss is the self. All become dear only owing to the love of self. So we look upon things like they're dear, or we cherish them, but they're also the self. And so it appears that we love a thing or a person, but it's still only the self. So bliss is the self. Love is the self. He says, love is not different from the self. Love of an object is of an inferior order and cannot endure, because objects don't endure. Whereas the self itself is love. And as that, it is eternal. So eternally available. That's it for my quotes today. Wait another minute here. Any typing? I keep talking. Otherwise, we'll sign off. You know that I am the spiritual facilitator who keeps it real. And so until we meet again tomorrow, keep it real and enjoy and love yourself, which means love all things as yourself. Don't imagine that there's something not you that you should love. It's not going to work. Just come to your senses, which is a technique we learn here. Stay with your hearing, seeing, touching, tasting, smelling, and notice the love that is here. Okay. Enjoy yourself for now, and see you next time.